important, so a couple words about me. I'm I'm active as a volunteer in several free and open source projects in my spare time, because in my real life, everyday life, I'm a web developer and a data scientist, and I do not do anything for open source projects except for those that we use in our day job, which are OpenOffice Suite. But in my spare time, I long time volunteering about OpenOffice, where I also served as a project chair a few years ago and release manager a couple of years ago. And I'm still focused on data visualization, text mining, and data journalism as part of my job. So I tried playing with OpenOffice and trying.
They're coming back with the microphone.
Okay, and trying to see what we could do with it.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry, because technically it is my fault as a room manager not to have checked that the guy was not working out with the microphone. But
just to check if it works, can you speak into it? I will. But by the way, it was recording also via the
Yeah, I know.
channel microphone. Just checking.
There is nothing on channel 1 currently.
Yes, I'll let it. Speak.
test.
Can you look if I believe there is a pair button.
The pairing.
Okay. Shall I press the pair button?
Can you check? Speak?
Press deep button. Now it is
No, not yet, not yet.
the green light.
Maybe you have to push here. It's still blinking. I'm sorry, you had to run it. Wait. Try speaking. No, not yet. Tell me if I should. Try. No, I can't see anything. Should I push something? It's green now.
Yes.
Speak.
1, 2, 3, 1.
No, I still can't see any. No, still empty. But it's green.
I can write to the record. Was enough.
It's become green.
Oh, should be bad.
No, not yet.
Is it blinking?
Yes.
Okay.
Not anymore. Try speaking.
1, 2, 3, 1,
No.
3, 1, 2, 3.
No, nothing. I'm sorry. Should I try?
Channel should be moving.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I just pushed again. There. Let's try. I don't know if it was a timeout.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Not yet. Now it's not blinking. Try speaking. No.
Doesn't show anything.
No, it looks like not. I'm sorry.
Try like this.
What? Maybe it's muted. No, it's not.
Now it's off.
Okay, it would be really funny. No, nothing. I'm sorry. Just my voice on channel 2.
You have 1 moment to go for support then. Sorry, this is a bit of an unexpected tournament.
Does this mean that the previous talks were not recorded? Because
No,
when we tested
I
it
was
this morning-
here.
Okay.
It wasn't recorded.
Okay.
By the way, there is still the internal microphone, so you may speak.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
is still the internal
speak louder. And,
Okay, so if there is some chance that it will be recorded, I try. So, well, enough about myself, and let's really try to respect the schedule. Text mining in general.
Даю от микрофона, току що себе ще гарантирно, і в момент не було звати аудіокнигу.
So, text categorization like assigning a document to a certain class, automated summarization of documents through machine learning. So, trying to find a shorter way to say the same thing, so finding out what the important sentences are. And the sentiment analysis, much common on social media these times. Understanding if a sentence is positive, negative, or neutral with respect to a certain topic. But there is a more basic form of text mining that we can play with even without specialized tools, like statistics on text, length of sentences, most common words, numeric indicators about their writing style. They try to profile writers and define their writing style based on numbers, and this surprisingly works. So it is possible to have a fingerprint of an author by checking how frequent is his usage of certain words or patterns. You can identify this pattern in the text, and a more basic form of text mining is visualizing the text in the form of a word cloud. In general, we would use Python as the preferred language because it's the one with the richest library set for all data science, but specifically for text mining. With advanced use cases, you would need specialized libraries and high computational power. But for the basic use cases, a local computer is more than. A typical example of a basic text mining exercise would be read a text file, process the text appropriately, and then produce a word cloud that represents with a picture the most common words we are seeing in the document. So this is an exercise I did with my students, with my web communication students. We produced an animated word cloud with Italian news, selecting the topic of the week. So this animation has 2 minutes, and of course I will skip it, but words become larger or smaller according to popularities they had in recent weeks. So you can capture the trends visually, the news trends visually. But we are trying to see what we can do using OpenOffice as a tool. That one was done natively in Python and without any usage of an office. Our built-in feature basically is Python. As Python is available within an office, we have Python interpreter within the office. We have the PyUnit bridge, which allows to basically map internal components to Python. You can use the text within Python. Thanks. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Just rebooted. Okay. Rebooted.
Both sides.
Oh, what you know about? Okay. I'm not going back to previous slides. Let's just start from here. We have Python in Apache OpenOffice, and we are trying to do something that's some simple text mining within OpenOffice. Getting the text is extremely easy, since it is just one line of code. Actually, you go to the user scripts or whatever you want to put your Python script, and the first part just gets the text of the current document. And it's trivial, I can show it in a proper text editor, but basically it's here, just a few lines of code. And then you have the text available. So from now on, we are doing all the processing using the internal Python. Then we will resort back to OpenOffice for a kind of visualization, the very, very raw visualization we can have within the writer. Writer has a lot of limitations on that. So, what do we do in the Python environment? Tokenization. We strip out all punctuation. Text is converted to lowercase. Text becomes a list of words. Okay, we change the data structure. We remove stop words. Why? Because otherwise, for any text we analyze, we would see that and or the would be the most used words, and of course we don't want them to skew statistics. Then we filter to remove noise. A word that is only appearing once is a word that can be removed. This allows us to take a very long text with a variety of words and condensate it into a couple hundred relevant words. And okay, we can, don't want to waste time on this, but again, it is a few lines of code here, and you just get, there are some tricks to show. Okay. There are some tricks to properly extract words and such, and replacing everything with space if it is not allowed. Then with the counter object in Python, we can very simply summarize our list and just extracting frequencies. So our list of words with repetition that becomes a native Python data structure. Each word and the account, like the word computer appears 34 times. And here, again, it becomes trivial to assign a popularity score to each word, just to single out the ones that are really popular and the ones that are less popular. And this is what we do here. Okay, the stop words removal was already done as part of the previous step. And basically here we just calculate the frequency, and we generate the counters and we compute frequencies. And now we have to go back to OpenOffice. This is the kind of tricky part, but still within an absolutely manageable complexity. Let's say that we start with an OpenOffice document, and we want to append the visualization, kind of a word cloud, the visualization of word frequencies, to the end of this document. Then we use a cursor, and this is documented in APIs, and it is the missing link that brings back our Python objects to something that we can use in OpenOffice. So we generate the cursor, we go to the end of document since we want to append the word cloud to the existing text. And with the cursors, we'll also apply style information. We are seeing it in a minute. Style information, why? Because Writer is very, very limited. For example, all text in Writer has to be on lines, while the word cloud is a much more free visualization in general, with the words that can be freely placed. Writer does support floating objects, but this would be totally overkill for our example, as if we want that, we'd rather move to the engine of draw and generate an impress slide, for example. But here, if we want to stay in within Writer, we want it to be done in 20 lines, everything, we just can set these properties for the text we are going to write, to append to the end of text, and for each word we compute the right color and size so that it is a little bit nicer. And all of this literally takes 20 lines of code. You know what is shown here. It is just done here. If you remove the includes, basically it's a word cloud generator in 20 lines of code. The projector is has a wrong resolution, so it cannot show it properly. But you go from here by executing the macro. This is famous inaugural speech of President Obama. And if we want to extract the key topics from here, we just run the macro, and this is what we get. It is still extremely simple, but one gets the idea in Writer. Okay, that would be it. So you get America, American nation. You can single out the most frequent words, and this is as far as you get in Writer with just an absolutely simple approach like we did, which is this. Possible improvements, how to use other functionality. Here there's a lot of stuff that we could improve, starting from this very basic use case, which is, of course, appearance. Now it is too static. And there, basically, one would start with creating something with the Draw Impress engine rather than the Writer engine. And once you are there you have native floating objects that you can place everywhere. Of course, with that it comes complexity, since now this word cloud is just a stream of words, one after each other, where we put the appropriate style to each word. There we would have to compute a bounding box for each word and make sure they do not overlap too much. So it is substantial, a substantial amount of new work, but that would be the way to do this. Basically, we would need a positioning algorithm that currently we just don't have. We just dump it all out in one line. And this for appearance. But then we are within a word processor. And this means we can improve the quality of our word cloud in ways that would be quite hard to do in other contexts. For example, OpenOffice knows about stemming, meaning recognizing, in our example, that America and American are basically the same word, share the same root word. And we can do that since our spell checker within OpenOffice already does it, the Manch-on-Manch population. And I haven't tested it, but if it was possible to interface with the Handspell engine that we use for spell checking, this would automatically improve the quality by reducing each word to its most common appearance. And okay, then technically destemming and lemmatizing. Lemmatizing means choosing the right representative between America and American, for example, in this case. Another thing that we could do in an excellent way if we wanted to improve this further is using synonyms. Because a word cloud inherently has a big limitation. It mixes up the significant and the meaning. The significant is the word you use to express a concept, and the meaning is, of course, what you want to convey. So if I say brilliant and excellent, and I want to actually say the same thing, the two frequencies will be separated, and there is no way to understanding it. But we do have a synonyms engine in OpenOffice. So we could resort to it and trying to interface with the tutors and try to cluster words with the same meaning. And again, this would be more or less the same process we've seen before, but with the fact that we are now going into the semantic word, trying to figure out what a word actually means, and not just the way it looks. Another improvement that would be possible in theory is the part of speech tagging. We do have support, limited support for grammar checkers. Part of speech tagging means find out if a word is a noun or an adjective. Good, like a good boy, or for the common good. And this would allow us to restrict our word cloud to only adjectives, for example, making it much more homogeneous and much nicer to see, to read for a real reader. The appearance would be the same, but the meaning to a reader would be much richer. This is quite hard, and yeah, the rest is probably feasible. Here we are going into something that becomes harder to do. While going back to stuff that we could do rather easily, sentiment analysis is another thing we would be able to probably do, and also decoupled from the word listings. Like one creates word lists with known bad or good characterizations, and this could be implemented with a similar statistical approach, but outside the word cloud set. And okay, we rushed a bit during the time, but that's it. Thank you. If anybody has questions or wants to see the code or anything, please.
Do you have kind of a range, when you give ranking to the words, you know, in the actual implementation, I mean, so you give a ranking from 0 to 1.
Yes.
But is there a limit of ranking, meaning that it's just one decimal, for example, or is it unlimited at the moment?
I compute, well, at the moment, I simply take the data and compute maximum and minimum, so I assign 0 and 1 to cover all the font sizes I want to cover.
Okay, it's unlimited, it depends on the amount of work present.
Exactly, exactly. So I take the text and I stretch it to be always between 0 and 1.
That's because I was, say that I really, how to say, I love to use styles, but I'm obsessioned by the styles. So the first thing that came to me is that you've been talking about styles, but if I'm not wrong, you were doing direct formatting.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously.
Okay, well, this
So
is
I
a
thought-
concept, we're not...
No problem. I mean, again...
But, one could prepare character styles, indeed.
Yeah, but I think that this applies, could apply if you have a limited number of, styles. I mean, arrange, that's why the previous question.
Yeah, okay.
Because,
Well, yes,
you
in
can't
that
do-
case,
you
we
can't
would
make
set on...
300
say-
styles, I think it's
Exactly.
completely unusable. It's much better to use direct formatting.
Okay. Yes, if you want to use set styles, then you would add
Yes.
something to map categories, to map intervals to a certain style, yes.
But it may apply probably in the future implementations of sentiment, or,
Yeah,
for
that-
example, you may use some kind
Sure.
of style for that. Really interesting, by the way.
Any other questions? Okay, we have time for 1 or 2 questions. Please.
Are there other softwares behind this?
Yes, there are more, but okay, it is a list of softwares. If you see it, the proof of concept is not really complete. Like here, for example, with you and your
Yes,
would have to be removed. So.
That's what I mentioned. Are there library function to get this language dependent?
Yes, yes. With Python libraries, if you can leverage the full Python, then you don't need to hardcode stop words as a sequence, as a list of words that you make up yourself. There are existing stop words with most text processing libraries for Python, and they are localized into languages. So that is just because I was doing it in 20 lines, but with a sane approach, yes, that's perfectly feasible. Question? Okay.
In your code, you have this complex script. But, what is that exactly? Is that something you built yourself, or is that the interface to?
It's a PyEU, no? Yes, it's the interface to OpenOffice and LibreOffice for that matter. That is a bridge that gives you the possibility here. You are in Python and you will run this within Writer, but this is the bridge that will get the text from the document to Writer, and the cursor here is the one doing the opposite thing, meaning bringing what you have and being able to insert it into the document. And these are the two, but the API is documented and it is just there by
functionality to do the grammar itself, checking whether is there not this thing, or is OpenOffice also using a library?
No, grammar checker is not native in OpenOffice, so it is available through extensions, and the extensions use either Java or Python, but it is not a native engine there is in OpenOffice, and I don't know what they internally use.
Yeah, you could find out what you would be able to interface to that one.
That would be nice. Okay, it's time to leave the floor to the next speaker.
Remove the
Simon.
microphone.
Yes. I will run. You know, the nice thing is that everything gets recorded since it is a Wi-Fi microphone. So.
All the comments are going downstairs.